And in the Metro East this morning, these toy guns look innocent enough, but you will not believe what some criminals are doing to turn these into real weapons. I have a warning from the public straight from the Illinois State Police coming up next only on News 4 this morning.
Now to a story you'll see only on News 4. Criminals taking toy guns and turning them into real guns.
Sounds bizarre and nearly impossible, but we know it is happening in the Metro East, and that is where we find our Laura Hettiger live this morning. Laura, you're the only reporter to get this information.
I am, Claire, and as soon as I heard that criminals are taking Nerf guns that look similar like this and turning them into functioning shotguns, I had to get more information to warn our viewers. That is why we came straight here to Illinois State Police. So right off the bat, I want to go ahead and show you two pictures. Now, the first one you are going to see is a Nerf Super Soaker that has been turned into a shotgun. You see it right there on your screen. The other picture you're about to see is a toy pistol that was turned into a .22 caliber revolver. These were confiscated on December 3rd in Granite City, and as soon as I got a hold of these pictures, I started making calls to law enforcement all over the metro area. I finally tracked down a narcotics commander with Illinois State Police, very familiar with this case. While he cannot comment on the specifics, he says this type of criminal activity is alarming.
Thank God it's not as prevalent as it could be, but they're actually a functioning weapon to where they could actually fire a round. It works like a zip gun to where it's like a one-shot deal to where one bullet can kill you. So they're just as dangerous as a regular weapon.
Now, most of us would agree this does not look anything like a real gun. Definitely looks like a toy, but there are some toy guns that do look real. Think about those airsoft guns, and more specifically, the case going on in Cleveland with that 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police last month. So coming up for my next story on this at 5:35, police are going to give all of you who are finishing up your Christmas shopping for your kids and your grandkids a warning about specifically buying toy guns and the very real consequences that can sometimes go along with that. Again, more on that coming up at 5:35. We'll send it back to you guys. And these toy guns can be all fun and games until they fall into the hands of criminals who turn these into very real weapons. That is where the games stop, especially for Illinois State Police. I have information you'll only get on News 4 this morning coming up next. And Mike, I'm sure you and your brother probably had a couple of toys like this in your house growing up. A lot of kids want them for Christmas, but these toys and other fake guns can sometimes be confused or converted into real weapons. I have a warning straight from Illinois State Police for all of you coming up at 6:40. Stick with us though. You're watching News 4 this morning. And a lot of kids have toys like this on their Christmas wish list, but a lot of police wish parents would not buy these toy guns for their kids. I have a warning straight from Illinois State Police for all of you finishing up your holiday shopping coming up right after the break.
Now to a story you'll see only on News 4. Criminals taking toy guns and turning them into real guns.
Sounds bizarre and nearly impossible, but we know it is happening in the Metro East, which is where we find our Laura Hettiger live this morning. And Laura, police are warning people about buying these types of toys for Christmas gifts.
They sure are, Claire. Now, when I started this story, I had certain expectations that I was going to talk to police about the very real dangers that these toy guns turned into real guns poses to officers and also the community. I was not expecting this story to be so applicable for so many of our viewers who are finishing up their holiday shopping. So let's get you right to a picture of an airsoft gun. A lot of kids have these, including the 12-year-old who had this exact gun in Cleveland last month. You probably remember that police confused the toy for a real pistol. They then shot and killed him. Now that toy does look very real, but the toys in the next pictures you are seeing are not. They look fake, but get this, they are real. These are now operating shotguns and revolvers that were confiscated in Granite City last week. Police say as you look at toys for your kids this holiday season, be aware of exactly what you're purchasing and the consequences that come with these toys.
Pistols are so real looking or real like that the replicas could be a possible problem for that person that's carrying that. So again, officers make split second decisions every single day, and we have to be mindful that that could fall in the hands of a criminal.
That lieutenant also commented if the bad guys spent half as much time concealing their criminal intent, if they spent half of that time doing something positive, then they'd probably be a millionaire or even change the world for the better. Instead, lieutenant says these type of actions really make it that much more dangerous for police to do their jobs. Reporting live in Collinsville, Laura Hettiger, News 4.
News 4 is always tracking crime, watching out for your safety. Tonight, we're learning of an alarming new trend. Criminals taking toy guns and turning them into real guns. Now, it sounds bizarre and nearly impossible, but as Laura Hettiger shows us in a story you'll only see on News 4, it is happening in the Metro East.
As soon as I heard that criminals have figured out how to take a Nerf gun like this and turn it into a functioning shotgun, I had to get more information so we could warn all of you, our viewers. So right off the bat, check out these two pictures. The first is a super soaker turned into a real shotgun. The second is a toy pistol turned into a .22 caliber revolver. Police confiscated these last week in Granite City. Illinois State Police Lieutenant Derek Wise tells me this is not a crime trend, but instead it is a new crime concern.
They're actually a functioning weapon to where they could actually fire a round. It works like a zip gun to where it's like a one-shot deal to where one bullet can kill you. So they're just as dangerous as a regular weapon.
He also says some toy guns are just as real looking as real weapons. So as you finish your holiday shopping, here's something to keep in mind.
The replicas could be a possible problem for that person that's carrying that. So again, officers make split-second decisions every single day, and we have to, be mindful that that could fall in the hands of a criminal.
The toy guns converted into real guns we showed you are now evidence in a case in Madison County. When I find out more about it from the state's attorney, News 4 will let you know. In the newsroom, Laura Hettiger, News 4.
A surprising development in a story we first brought you on News 4 this morning.
A career criminal was supposed to be in court today for meth and gun charges. Instead, this man, Ronald Stillwell, is arrested again, this time for meth possession. Stillwell now has a new court date where prosecutors will also discuss the new crime trend of turning toy guns into real guns. Laura Hettiger has more.
It's really hard to decide what's the most concerning part of this story. First off, you have a suspect who's been in prison 9 times and who was caught by police making meth. Secondly, police found a pistol during that drug raid, but it wasn't just any pistol. It was one that was purposely disguised as a toy.
Some sort of a toy that had been, modified into an operating firearm based on our investigation.
This is the gun Madison County State's Attorney Tom Gibbons is talking about, a full functioning .22 caliber revolver I first told you about a week ago. Although this is an isolated incident, Gibbons is looking at how this criminal activity could impact all police officers and really all of you.
That's one of our big concerns, is that this, that there would be somebody out there who would have something that doesn't look like a real gun, and it might lead an officer to hesitate and themselves get shot, or another person to not take cover if somebody has that out.
New York's Attorney General feels just as strongly about this issue. That is why he sent a cease and desist letter to Walmart, Kmart, Sears, and Amazon to stop selling fake guns like the one you are seeing here. The best advice in any case, though, is this.
It's very important that no one ever point any type of gun, real or fake, at anybody, and so we don't have any of these kinds of misunderstandings or any kinds of tragedy.
As for this case working its way through the Madison County court system, Gibbons tells me if Stillwell is convicted, he will push for the harshest possible punishment. In the newsroom, Laura Hettiger, News 4.